1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Open as Stefan. So how much do you remember of that?
I remember quite a bit of it, actually. For some reason, I seem to remember him better than some of the others. But it still seems like a dream quality to it, you know. And I think what really scares me the most is when I have dissociative states and I lose time. And I don't know if I've talked about that before, but I lost Saturday. Saturday went away. And because every Saturday I go to the 14th Street Bar and Grill and have a turkey dinner. My friend Alita works down there. And I didn't show up on Saturday. And she called me up and she was all worried and everything. And I said, Alita, what happened to Saturday? Story here that just, it's very unique, extremely unusual, and it has to do with multiple personality disorder, and it has to do with artwork. I have lived the life. I got into treatment for multiple personality disorder in 1987, and I have lived literally the life. And now what I'm going to tell you is going to sound really crazy. I can give you references, and I'm not a paranoid schizophrenic. I was labeled a paranoid schizophrenic from 1967 until 1987. Or excuse me, 20 years. And so I picked up a lot of schizophrenic-like behaviors. But also at the same time, I became a registered social worker. You don't do that if you're a basket case. I graduated from college, 4 years of college plus graduate school. I had a radio series that was on National Public Radio that I was associate producer, things like that. But I did them all in dissociative states. There's Robin, there's Ginger, there's Steve, Stefan, and Stephen. Those are like the main five. And there's the little people, and there's the old man, and there's like about a cast of about 8 or 9 different people. And I was never aware of it until 1987 that I was even doing this. Like one part of me would be the social worker, the other part would be working as an artist, and then I also had a career as a musician. Now I have documentation to prove all this. I have the album covers that I've been on records. I mean, I got files full of documentation. I'm one of these people that saves everything. It's like they're like lambs, they're like little black lambs. And when I'm at school, people hit me with wet towels and call me the wounded mouse. And that's not fun at all. Did you ever get snapped with a towel?
Yes.
Snap with a wet towel on your bottom? It doesn't feel too good. And we can't wear any clothes when we go swimming. We have to go in the pool without any clothes on. And one boy, he's got a tail.
What the hell are we doing here?
Oh, here.
What is this?
We're getting Stephen Flood.
It's like a tail.
All right, it's not worth talking about. It's not worth talking about it. He's no good as an artist. He's never going to make it. He's never going to get anywhere. He's never going to get to New York City. He's never going to get any place he ever wanted to go. Just leave us alone. Leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I just want to be left alone, and I just want to die a peaceful death. I just want to die. I've got sclerosing cholangitis. That's a rare form of liver disease. I'm not an alcoholic because I've never been a drinker. And I want to just die right now. I don't care. I want to go to the hospice and die. It doesn't matter to me about any of this stuff.
Church house
I don't care about this beauty, and I don't
that
care about any
belonged
of
to the
this
church,
outdoor
to
shit.
some
I
Negro
wanna go to
people,
a hospice and die. That's all I
some
wanna
black
do.
people.
I wanna lay down
And
blues and had a lot of hard
the church
times,
didn't
hard
like
times,
it.
hard life, and it's been
But
really
my
hard,
mom
and
said,
it's harder
if
now
you
than
ever
it
have a
was.
girlfriend,
So
you could have a
we're
black
gonna-
girlfriend
we're gonna do
anytime you
this,
want
we're
to.
gonna get
It
that
doesn't
way.
matter to
And we're
us.
gonna do this, we're gonna
But
do
I don't know
that.
any
And I'm
black
gonna get-
people myself.
Nah, I got cold feet.
But I don't have anything
Nah,
against
get
them.
the hell out of- get
That's
the
for
hell out of
sure.
that. What the hell is this?
I wish I had a black friend, but I don't. I don't have any friends except the people I contact through my ham radio, and that's upstairs, and that's got it's in code or it's in voice. You can do either way, and my dad doesn't know too much about it, so he asked Mr. Provey to help me with it, because Mr. Provey's got a real expensive ham rig, and that was really fun to go over and meet him, and Mr. Provey's helped me with it. And I've got a sister named Judy, and she gets to sleep downstairs, and I sleep upstairs, and my brother, his name is Scott, and he's younger than me, and he says I tease him, but I don't really. And that's all I can say for now.
I have chronic mental illness. I've been a mental patient for many, many years. But my case is very, very typical for people with MPD. And the other thing that makes it even rarer, and all these things have been hard. I'm not like tooting my own horn. I'm not a prima donna. I'm not a pity party ego tripper. But all these things have been made even harder because of the fact that I'm biologically a man.
Uncle Clifford is someone that is still alive. He's in his probably close to 70 now, and somehow he has survived living in the streets of Chicago in what they call the psychiatric ghetto, which is a bunch of SROs, which are single room only occupancy boarding house kind of places, for 40 years now. I guess he's been on his own. One day he sort of left his bondage, which was in the back of my grandparents' house, where he'd been kept for years in seclusion in the back, couple of rooms back there, and just took off for Chicago. And it was an incredibly heroic thing that he did in some ways. He has delusional patterns, to the paranoid patterns, to the extent that he will meet my father, but only at prescribed situations, prescribed settings, and he feels that the FBI is after him and that there's a conspiracy against him. And the last time I saw him, my father sends him money. He hasn't seen a doctor since the 1950s. he was in a madhouse for a while, for a very short while, and that's what my grandparents took him out of the madhouse. Chicago State Hospital in the 1950s was a snake pit. People didn't realize that he was doing this, see. I mean, here was this upstanding, respected member of the community, a faculty member of Rock Valley College in Rockford, Illinois, this community college, and he would have these parties over there, and they were called necktie parties. And we'd come in, and you had to take all your clothes off, pull the drapes, and he'd assign neckties to wear. He'd give us a necktie. And then he would start everybody drinking what he called purple passions, which I guess is what is that, vodka and grape juice or something. And that was easy for young people to take. It's sort of like grape pop. That's why I always thought of it. I'm not a drinker. I really have been. It was really hard for me to drink. It was my first real like getting drunk experience and everything. And then he'd show what used to be called dirty movies. He'd show like stag films or dirty movies. Except these would just be all of men, boys. And I never really thought that was really strange. I was so naive. I didn't know, you know. And so anyway, we'd sit up there and get us totally plastered. And one thing would lead to another. And he would wind up having sex with somebody. In other words, I remember the first time I saw anybody ever have sex. I walked into the bathroom, and there was Uncle Dave, and he had one of the boys, and the boy was holding on to the towel rack, and Uncle Dave was anally having anal intercourse with him. And then Uncle Dave used to like to do another thing too, where he would open up our anal cavity by what he would do is we took an electric toothbrush and tied tape around it. And the only problem is he liked to leave a little bit of the tape jagged so that it would make a little blood. He liked a little blood with his sex. So he would stick the toothbrush up there and open up the anal opening, getting ready for anal intercourse. Rape. I mean, because this was all the boys were just totally inebriated. I didn't even know what they were doing. I was bound on my mind, and I don't know how many times he got me. My mind still remember that. Still got it blanked out, because it's so horrible. And other times, Uncle Dave would one of his favorite things that he liked to do was have us ejaculate in his eyes. That he liked to get in the bathtub. And then, see, we thought this, I didn't realize this was anything bad. I didn't realize that this wasn't, I'd had no sexual experience. I was about 12 years old. And I didn't know. And at that time, I had personalities, and I didn't know it, you know. And this only contributed, of course, to them. And he liked to go in the bathtub, totally plastered, and then me and another guy named Steve would come in there who was like my best friend, and was this guy that showed me. The guy would. Well, there was another abuser. This guy got into multiple abuse. And anyway, we'd go into the bathroom. He'd get in the bathtub, and we would ejaculate into his eyes and mouth. But mostly his eyes. He liked that with his eyes. And then also he liked to serve sperm in shot glasses. And so that was another thing he liked to do. And like the movie Batman, you know, like the movie Batman Returns was out this summer. And I still can't go to see Batman, or I can't have anything to do with Batman, because my name, the name that he gave me was Robin. And he used to call me Robin. He used to say, "Oh, you're so willowy." And he used to call me Robin, and like we used to go over there. Batman and Robin was on at the time when we go over there. I don't know how this could be, but it was. It was on. I don't know, I guess the night it was on network television or whatever. We'd go over there and watch it. And afterwards, he has fantasies of Robin, and he always calls me Robin. So that's how come later on I developed a personality, or I started showing the personality of Robin. And I didn't realize until I got into therapy and realized what was happening. So I blocked all this out.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Robin?
Yeah.
Hi.
I think this video is going to be a really great teaching tool for a lot of people, and it's going to really help a lot of people. Potentially, it could really help a lot of people. And isn't that what it's all about? Really just helping other people. I mean, isn't that what we're all trying to do? To take away ignorance and superstition and the myths about mental illness. Most people don't even know the difference between schizophrenia and multiple personality disorder. They don't even know what schizophrenia is. Like, a lot of people will say, oh, that's a very schizophrenic type situation, or it's become like a word in our American lexicon, of using that slang or a term. And schizophrenia, very simply is a thought disorder. Biochemically, that's almost 99% proven now. It's like Parkinson's disease or something. And it's when you have, like, you think you're Napoleon or you're something like that. That's one form of it. And multiple personality, but most people think of schizophrenia as being like a split. But what that is split personality. That's multiple personality disorder.
See, every multiple that I've ever seen, and I spent 3 months in a loony bin full of them in Denver, one of the finest treatment facilities in the world. I saw literally dozens of them. Every single one of them has both male and female what they call alters. Like right now you're talking to myself, which is Stefan, and it's the main person. And dealing with these female alters has been much more difficult than if somebody was a woman dealing with male alters, because both sexes have each. Like I said, I've never seen anybody who didn't have both. So this situation has a number of different aspects to it.
My God, having to deal with that, and it seems to come and go of its own accord. It's terrible. It's like there's some kind of woman inside of me or something that will all of a sudden make that happen, and then all of a sudden it'll go away a couple months later, and no one can figure out why. Because you have to get in touch with that female personality. They're still not gone. They're still there. And to give you a sort of medical documentation of this, in 1986, I think it was, I was hospitalized, and they thought that I had peritonitis, swelling of the abdomen. Looked like there was, because I have non-alcoholic liver disease, and I have ascites from that, which can look like this. Anyway, I'm not a doctor. I can't explain my own medical history that well, but long and short of it is that I was put in the hospital, and they were going to open me up. And the swelling went down dramatically days later during the hospital stay, and no one could figure it out, because at that time, see, I hadn't had the diagnosis. And that's one of the things that Dr. Bob Rountree, my family doctor, so to speak, was starting to get inklings of maybe I had a multiple personality in about this time.
I wasn't even aware that I was doing this, but I actually led sort of a double life. Well, not sort of, I did. And that's what Ginger looks like. And I can now talk about this because I don't feel now that I am a transsexual. I think it's pretty clear to everyone that I'm not. But that's what they look like.
The female personalities used to be literally female personalities, and there's a whole trunk of their clothes that I moved recently, and I was going to throw it away, and I just couldn't do it. It was like, I'm not them anymore. I don't wear those clothes anymore. I haven't for a long time. And so I just couldn't throw them away. It reminded me of an article I read in Time magazine about Dustin Hoffman when he played in that role, Tootsie, that movie Tootsie. And at the end, he said that he put Dorothy, his Dorothy, he put all of her clothes in a trunk and saved them. He just couldn't quite get rid of her. And that's the way I guess I feel about the women.
Was it Pam?
Pam, Debbie, and Ginger. Uh-huh.
As you know, I'm Stefan, and as I have been most of this filming, I guess. I am a heterosexual person, and this is something that I want to say. I have nothing against gay or anything at all, but you know, that's not my bag, and I just want to say that because I wanted I don't want it to make it seem like these female personalities have been like homosexuality connected with it. If there was, I would admit that, and there wouldn't be anything wrong with that. You know, I have nothing against that. I'm not prejudiced, you know, but that's just not the case. These women personalities have been extremely asexual, non-sexual, and are very turned on to, well, actually, there is a gay component to it because the female personalities are very turned on to women. They're men haters. Violence that almost only used to occur, or never really did, and thank God, but was among these women wanting to attack men for what they did to us. I've been in some heterosexual relationships, and just one since the MPD diagnosis in '87, and it totally destroyed the relationship because she couldn't handle them. That she couldn't handle the women, and she realized that some of our physical relationship had been involved with more than one personality, and it got a little not kinky or anything like that. Just in a head way, it got a little kinky, you know. For her parents were our ministers and pastors, and they thought that I had the devil in me. They thought that this was like a demonic thing, which a lot of people think.
Some people say that I can tell things before they happen. Before they happen. And I'm not crazy. You know, I look like a boy, but I'm a girl.
This is my animals. Do you want to know their names?
Yeah.
This is Skippy, and he's in some of the paintings. And we wanted to get a cat, a little kitten, but I put a little kitten, or a little cat, on his collar. So sometimes we can pretend like he's a cat. And he's a poodle. He's a little black poodle puppy. And this is Mommy Bunny. And I got her from Tamara as a present. And she's in charge of all the other ones. Except she's been sleeping all winter in a cardboard box, which I don't like. I wish I could keep her out all the time. And this little fella, we got him at the Minnesmeyer Clinic in last summer. He's like a little purple bear. And he looks like a doctor because he's got like a suit on. He's a doctor bear, but he doesn't talk. And some of these make little noises and stuff, and some of them don't. And this is a little Easter bunny. This is the Easter bunny. And I got this when I was in the hospital 2 times. And then this guy here is Taffy. And Taffy's my favorite bear. Taffy's my pet bear. Sometimes we have pets.
And I'm really not a
They're
boy.
my paintings.
But they think I am a boy. But I'm not. I'm an artist, and I paint pictures. And I'd throw a snowball at you if I didn't like you.
I have 2
But
bears.
I know you.
I have
and
3
you-
bears. And
You
I
know
have
me
3
now,
bears.
or something like
And
that.
I have,
And I don't get very
2
much
rabbits.
help, but
and
I like to
have,
cook and clean. And
dog.
I cleaned the bathtub, and I cleaned out
My
the
dog's
sink,
name is Skippy.
and then I
He's a
put
stuffed dog.
Ajax in the sink.
You can't have
Oh,
have dogs.
well, I would like to say more, but I don't know what more to say.
Well, we'll talk
No.
to Stephen for a little while. And we'll talk
You
to
can't
you
have
later,
dogs.
okay?
I love
So
dogs.
I'm going to count up to 10.
And I went to a house yesterday
1, 2,
to see an artist.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Open to Stephen, please.
Sort of. Not real bad.
You remember all that?
It's a little ginger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's sweet.
Yeah, it's called what do they call it when you concurrent or something like that, when you can know of one person and then you be one person and know about the other one. I can't think of what they call that, but I can do that now, and supposedly that's a sign of somebody making a lot of progress with their multiple personality disorder.
One of the, I lost my track of thought because I started switching to somebody else. Most people who have MPD can't do that. I mean, I'm not trying to say that. What I've taken is 3 or 4 years of hard hell to get to the point where I can do this, where I can know, and I still don't know it all the time. But usually in the morning after I wake up, I paint all night, so I just woke up like about an hour ago or half an hour ago even. That guy woke me up. Okay, I lost it again.
And this had a problem there. I guess don't we all? But maybe arthritis here. Cripple, sort of. Not real bad, but old man. Definitely an old man. I know that. I'd stick $100 on it. Neat. Somebody carried it around in their pocket. My first thought was somebody carried this around in their pocket for a long, long time. Hasn't been used in a while. It's one of those things that's so personal. It's like someone's personal razor or something. Have you ever gone and seen like some of these old straight razors and stuff? You know, it's like that somebody used. You know, you get such a feeling from them. Wow. You know, it's like wow. Yeah. Peace. Peace to your soul.
Who did you belong to, Carl?
My grandfather.
How did he die?
I killed him. They had a '58 Chevy they gave to me, and he was in his 70s, and I wanted to get it started real bad. I was 18, and so he came out and helped me push it to the street. Well, they pulled a hernia, and he died of that a couple years later.
People didn't know what was wrong with me.
One of the reasons why I developed the MPD was because sometimes when little kids are real psychic, like they have precognition and stuff like that, they're punished for it because people will say, snap out. My parents used to say, snap out of it. And if you don't, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I mean, I was hurt terribly. I was punished for having this psychic kind of abilities, And since '87, they've just gotten stronger and stronger and stronger. And I got connected with Naropa Institute in the summer through my therapist in '88, and started what appeared to be channeling. And I use that term very, very carefully because I'm not a new Jerry Ferry. You know, I'm not I'm not a burned out bozo from the '60s who saying, "Oh, I'm channeling this or channeling that." This is the first time in the last few months that I've even, or in the last few weeks, that I've used that word.
Lately, in the last couple months or so, I have had to go by liquor stores and walk in and buy sake and not know why. I don't like alcohol. I have a non-alcoholic liver disease. And I've never liked the taste of it. But something made me drink that sake, and I think I know what it was, too. It was somebody else coming through. I never thought about it till just now. And he scared me sometimes. He used to terrify me. And I can't really talk about it too much because of a court case. But, oh yeah. Well, I feel that Rinpoche's still around. I thought he'd gone away, but I don't know.
I'll open up as the little
You
people,
did a lot of good things.
because the little people are always with me.
You messed up a lot, but you did a lot of good things. You did a lot of good things to help people. We did.
And they're here.
You know, there's nothing wrong with that.
And they're
And
real.
I'm going to stop this one because my whole body feels like it's going to twist into somebody else.
Who is that?
When I first feel something, when I touch something like this, I want to make it hard. I want to intellectualize it and be the big people about it. But if I go into like the little ginger, and little ginger feels this, and this was part of water at one time, and it was also part of a campfire, and it was part of, it's seen lots of fire, and it's very old. It sounds like it's got to go to the bathroom. That's the little people playing with it. The rocks don't go to the bathroom. It's just a little rock. It doesn't go to the bathroom. But it'd be a nice rock to have in your house. And those people were wrong when they said that that other thing hurt somebody. It really didn't. They just want to make a story out of it. Some things are really simple in life, you know, and you just want to, and they seem so.
It's really hard to talk about this because it's like 2 or 3 years of my it's like 2 or 3 years of my life has been waited for this, and once again we're being pioneers. We're being pioneers because it's like 2 or 3 years of my life has been waited for this, and once again we're being pioneers. We're being pioneers, and that's what the lawyer said. She says, "You're pioneers."
We want to attach importance to things that isn't always there because we don't want to just stay simple. The big people don't want to ever stay simple. They always make things really complicated.
Maybe it's just because I'm so sensitive or something that I'm fragile because of it. Maybe that's something like it, because I've gone through all these terrible things. One catastrophic illness to another, to another, to another. And by all rights, I shouldn't even be sitting here doing this right now. I should be, have passed on and gone to heaven or wherever I was going to go. Because you get a cancer scare, somebody says you've got cancer, and then you don't have it. And then somebody says you've got this other thing, and you don't have that. And I've gone through my whole life having all these different things wrong with me, and yet it was just because of the multiplicity. It was because it's really hard for me to, it's hard to get one person going, but think if you had 4 or 5 to get going.
And I just want to be left alone.
Sometimes it can get exhausting to do this kind of work. People didn't know what was wrong with me. And my mind will still go back to 1959 when I was associated with a bludgeoning murder of a family, of a father that went berserk on Father's Day in a horrible way. And that sort of started the whole thing off. It's sort of heavy subject matter, so I want to try to keep this as much as G rating as possible. But I think we have to go to PG at sometimes. So people who are watching this, be aware of that. And we do have a sense of morals, so I know it's important to some people. Thank you. I just realized that was... I just realized that was another personality. The first time I saw someone switch personalities was when I was in Columbine Hospital in Denver, and I was on the special unit for multiple personality disorders. A whole unit was filled with multiples, you know, like dozens of people with multiple personalities, dozens of women, you know, and I was the only man, of course. But anyway, let's see. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Sometimes it's not as dramatic, but if you go from an old man to a little boy, you're going to see something. You're going to at least tell the difference in voices. And the first time I heard anybody do that, I was really... It was when I was in the... I just got into the hospital, and this woman was switching outside on the hallway, talking really loud. Oh, I know. And the nurse came in, and she said, "You've never seen him before." It's about controlling the personalities yourself. But you see, before you can control them, you have to be aware that they're there. You have to see that's why we all work the fact that they're there, and it's called co-consciousness.
And they've got the power, and they're the ones that push you around, and all that shit.
There's one thing that I don't want to talk about, but I think is sort of interesting for people that are viewing this. And I don't want to come on camera with it because I'm too shy, but sometimes people with MPD have alters that are animals, like a dog or a cat. And I'm real uptight about people knowing about that because there's some real weird stuff that's happened among people with animal torture and satanic things, and also people think that they're being cruel to animals, and there's all these pushes all their buttons to find out that the guy next door has a personality of a poodle. It comes from having a household where no one touched each other except everyone could touch the dog. That was okay to hug the dog, you know. And so we, you know, 3 of us. I have one brother and one sister.
I keep wanting
And
to
my
talk about
parents would live in
psychiatry
this
and
house
keep
and
wanting
never
to talk
touch each
about the
other.
MPD and
But I
multiple
want to talk
personalities.
about it. I want to be the first one. And I've always sort of been a frontline kind of person, I guess. You know, all these things I've always done, I've always been sort of one step ahead, or I don't know.
And
If
multiple
that makes me
personality
sound like I'm
disorder
on some kind of
and
ego trip.
borderline
I'm not
personality
really. It's
disorders
just
and
that's sort of the way I
dissociative
think
functioning
it's- that God
disorders
has
and all these
lined
things that
up for
keep
me in
me
my life. I've always sort of been in these
imprisoned
areas, and
in
other people
mind.
come along and get the credit. You know?
and it really gets hard.
Well, I'm
and
doing
it's really a
I'm doing
bummer,
artwork,
and it makes me really sad
and my
because so many years of my life
union,
have been
NMR,
wasted.
My
I
female
feel have
part
been
of me
wasted
is still really strong,
in
and still is going to do that feminine
misdiagnosis.
artwork.
People didn't
That's
know
not
what
going to
was
stop.
wrong with me.
And the little people are still going to do the little people artwork, and that's not going to stop. And I'm going to talk about this, and I feel so blessed. I really do. I think I talked about this before on this project about what happened with the bludgeoning suicide of this family in 1959 in Rockford, Illinois, and.
You can divide my life in 2 different stages: pre the murder and bludgeoning, and post-murder bludgeoning. My best friend, Terry, his Uncle John had become a father figure to me. It was Terry's uncle, but it was sort of my uncle too. On Father's Day of 1958 or 59, Uncle John went totally berserk, and he took a hammer and he bludgeoned to death his 4 girls, and then he shot himself with a .22 in the head. And I sort of transferred my feelings into Terry's. I had, the boundary lines weren't clear, and for years and years after that, I had to lay awake at night in terror of something happening.
Three, 2, 1. Open as Stevie.
Hi.
Hi, Stevie.
Hi. There's a lot of equipment and lights and stuff.
Yeah, you're on camera.
Yeah. Were you guys ever 12?
Oh, yes, I remember being 12 vividly.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite times.
Was it?
Yes. I had some really good friends.
Yeah.
And you had a really good friend named Terry, right?
Yeah, Terry.
You want to talk
is our
about
best
Terry?
friend. Uh-huh. Terry, his dad is a car dealer, and he operates Bennett Motors, and his Uncle John, he has a white Triumph sports car, and we got to go for a ride in it, and I got to sit in the back, and it was really fun. And someday I'd like to have a sports car like that. It was really lots of fun to go, and we go over to his uncle's house, and we get to shoot rifles in the basement, and my dad won't let me have anything except a BB gun. My dad's away on travel a lot, and he's working hard to make money so that we can live, and sometimes I have scary thoughts at night, and I have to move my shoes a certain way, and I have to set the pillow a certain way, and I have to have my slippers set out a certain way, because otherwise the bad people come, and I don't understand them, and it's really hard to talk about them, but some people say that I know things before they happen.
I was writing letters to doctors that I had, and wrote this letter. I got this letter back from Dr. Pemberton, who was a proctologist, a guy that does work with, the rear end, and got back the records and found out that I'd had surgery. I'd actually had to have anal surgery in, I believe it was 1967.
That's my former therapist.
16, no, it was 69.
She wanted a
70,
baby body, but
something
you
like
can't
that.
do that with your therapist.
For
there
prolapsed
she is, and she came
anus
over
or
to
something like
visit
that.
me
He's got the
and I
report.
swooned
I've seen
when I
it.
went up to her. She
And
hugged.
it's true.
She just darshot. I
And
swooned.
the
I feel this was
Dr.
just
Bob
the
told
guy
me
that
that the kind of things
I
that
understand
comes
how I
from
did it. I didn't look at a model and go,
in
"Oh,
someone
I'm
that
gonna
young
like that," or something.
is almost exclusively
I didn't do that
from
with any
sexual
of these. It just
abuse,
sort of came.
anal abuse.
And there's a bunch of Christian ones.
Playing with a little kid.
There's one I wanted to
Whether that little kid
This
is
is
in
Jesus
fact
and
a
children.
teenager or a
Just giving enough-
3-year-old
a
or
number
a
of those
5-year-old
away
or
to
whatever it
little
is.
kids and stuff.
Somebody's been playing around.
And
And
there's
but all I can remember with the art teacher.
This is Joseph
is
being
just
sold by
going
his
in that back
brothers.
room, and I know he
feel
did.
like
I know he
being
did.
betrayed.
And it just makes me sick when I think about it. And
You find a lot of those in my work where they start.
it was all part of that whole thing about repressing my artwork. And
Story about a guy who is visited by some people from
I saw the
UFO,
movie,
which I don't want to say that I did or not, but and then a friend of
Little
mine
Man Tate
who I used to know in Chicago,
with
Michael
Jodie
Kruger,
Foster. And
I didn't realize until afterwards that I'd done this about him.
I saw that movie.
It's
and,
healing art. It's
I was a
visionary
lot
art.
like that kid when I was
Taken-
growing up. I was an
I've
exceptional
got
child.
over 250 paintings.
I never had the advantages of that.
Since December 1987. I had like this
Like
near
most
death
people
picture
do,
of
since
my
artists
altered ginger.
showing their children.
Except at the time we put down Patti Smith.
And if I just,
Still
if I
that
just
kind of
go
thing,
back and
you
I
know.
think, well, what if I would have had the advantages that
We did that like back in '84 or
tape
something
boy,
like that.
you know, I mean, God, my whole life
And
was
this is called
changed.
Jesus,
And the MPD
Joseph,
what
and Ginger.
happened, I look
No,
back at all these
Jesus and Ginger.
things because I was
This one.
that, I was, you know, I don't know if
I
I was
went to
that
the Rocky Mountain Garment Center in the summer of 1989. They came back with this vision for Janet Lake, my former therapist, who I'm still here. But I fell prostrate on the ground in front of the stupa there, the temple for the Rinpoche, and I had this experience, and I came back and I couldn't sleep for days, and I did this little painting.
I don't know.
And it's work like this that has caused people at the Kagu Buddhists or whatever they are to really
sessions where I would
be
try
very
to
interested in
regress
what
and
I'm
go
doing.
back and remember it. And
This is called Pam
just nothing.
and
comes through.
Debbie's
It's just a block.
paint painting, and
So
it's
if it
about
happened-
birth.
And
Well, that's what Ginger would like to look like.
they think it's about
But I mean, having had this experience with Jesus, I mean, I saw him and talked with him. So that's what I want to do. Is I want to
it's incredibly sad.
want to help other people.
But there's even sadder stories.
Robin,
This woman, Dr. Greller, out in Salem, Oregon.
This is
was
my
telling
latest
me
big
that,
one.
She was
This
working
one's called
with, she works in
A
the
Shaman
prisons out
Pushes
there,
Past the
the
Edge of
penitentiary
Reality,
in Salem.
Edges of Reality.
And she works there,
Or
and she
it's
said
called- oh, no,
she's
it's called
discovered
Resurrection.
3 or 4 male MPDs. She's
A Shaman
diagnosed
Pushes Past the Edges of
in
Reality.
her work there.
Or
And she said
there's-
the sad
there's a
thing about them
subtitle,
is they have
10 million
nothing.
children will die of
They don't have
starvation.
any therapy. They
So
don't
it's
have. They're
actually got
stuck
3
in
titles.
prison, and they all of a sudden find out that there are multiple. And she said, you know, you talk about something sad. That's it. I mean, how much worse would that be?
called
Being
The Just and Loving
incarcerated.
God.
The poor guys,
It's got
you
a
know,
lot
the
of
reason they
characters
probably
in
did
it.
their crimes were probably
Joan of
because
Arc
they were
was in that one.
abused when they were children themselves, you know, or violently abused or something. And here they're stuck in
That's the
prison.
Angel Patrol. This is
So
kind of
it
what
could be
Ginger does.
worse.
There's little insets here.
You know,
of
and
the
I just got to
artists.
keep remembering
This happens quite a bit
that
on some of
there
the
are
paintings.
people with
Where
longer
Ginger
histories
did like a
who've gone
painting
through
inside
longer
of a
histories.
picture.
People said, oh, there's schizophrenic.
And there you can
then
see
it
it's
turned out
Trump
that they were
Rinpoche
multiples and have gone for 25 or 30 years. I met a woman
embracing
who'd
his
gone
little
for 30
family there.
years in Columbine
And,
Psychiatric Hospital. When I was there
and then
for 3
there's,
months in 1990.
and then a
30
lot of
years.
times they'll say, oh, we
She
hurt
was a
so
senior
bad.
citizen.
That one of
And
those
she
things, we hurt so bad, and
had
they're
the
like
courage
reaching
to
up to
face it
like
and
a
was
god or
doing
some
it.
central kind of figure. Because a lot of them, see, the little
She was
people, they
spaced
don't
out a lot
understand.
with
It's
me,
like,
and she was
they just want the pain to go
disabled.
away from arthritis, so.
Wasn't able to-
Oh, we hurt so bad. A lot of times they'll say that, and they'll just like suffer, and they won't know what
God
to
damn
do
it,
about it.
Excuse me for swearing.
I live in isolation. It's almost
I
impossible
don't
for me to
live
have
in
friends or any kind of
I'm
social
alone,
life. I
isolated.
haven't been sexual in 5
It's
years,
terrible.
except
It's a
from with my
terrible, terrible
therapist,
thing,
which is a
you know.
terrible, terrible
Well, little
thing.
people thought lately about
And
killing themselves, you know, and they really have. And that's one
Sometimes
thing
I think,
heard
well,
Dr.
maybe
Fisher
this
said,
time
like,
it'll
try to
get me,
pound in
maybe
my
I'll die
head was
now.
that, look,
You
if
know,
one of
we
the
don't have
people
to wait.
dies,
Because I
everybody's going
spent
to die. And that's
all
what
the
a
whole
lot
month
of
of
most people
January
don't
trying to
realize
starve
about
myself to
suicide.
death.
Is that
It didn't work.
if one of them goes, they all go.
The
It's
first
sort of like,
quote,
oh,
big
well,
break
if
I
little
had
people
with the
got
Aspen Art
killed,
Museum, right?
then
It was like a
I
show
wouldn't
up
really
there.
get killed. It would just
And
be them.
this
that would
wealthy
die.
Texan was coming through,
Like in
and
therapy,
he was
they
going
go away,
all
you
out
know,
about
or-
one of those that look like these
No,
skulls.
that's not
and
true. If the body
caviar and
dies,
champagne and all the
you're
whole thing.
dead.
And he comes to my work and he goes,
That's it.
comes up to me and he goes,
And if
now,
one
he says,
kills the
"You-
body, then
you-
the rest of the bodies, because we all share the same
you,
body.
this work is, it
But
was
they
no
haven't
Texas
thinking
accent
about
kind of a
it,
guy, you know,
and
he has like entourage following me.
certainly
You do
nothing new.
therapy, this is just for you, isn't it? Now, come on, son, tell me this is just for you.
Every
I said,
day
well,
is
no,
just
it's not.
a
It's just for
struggle,
me. And he goes,
terrible,
well, now
terrible
tell me,
struggle
and this
just to
guy's really
survive
big,
every single
powerful
day.
Texan. You're
And just
fancy,
get enough
you know,
food down. And I go to bed at
snakeskin
night with my
belt on and
stomach
stuff.
grumbling because I'm
Now
so-
tell me, it's just for you,
so
son.
hungry.
And so finally I just said, well,
So
and Ginger
there's
came
part of me
and
that's
said, "Yeah, this is
anorexic that's
for
trying
me."
to starve.
Money is money, and chronic mental patients don't have a lot of money a lot of times, and a lot of people take me for that as being what I am. But then again, I'm really not. I hope some of this is making sense to somebody. Because I really feel passionately there's something that I want to get across to lots of people. And I've got this, God has given me, and I believe passionately in God, and God has given me this incredible ability. Or this incredible, well, I guess I got an ability too. I don't want to talk about gifts and all that kind of stuff because I don't like to talk about 160 IQs and stuff like that because it makes me feel like I'm on an ego trip. But that through this film, I have been given an opportunity to talk about some things that really, I think, can make a difference. And maybe some other people won't have to spend 20 years in misdiagnosis. and be put behind locked doors and given multiple drugs and things to try to control their minds. And maybe the men can talk about it, and they don't have to be psychopaths, and they don't have to be, people that are in prison, or maniacs, or mass murderers, or parent killers, or Ross Carlsons, or these people that these poor unfortunate men who wind up in the criminal justice system because they have multiple personality disorder.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Open as Stefan. So how much do you remember of that?
I remember quite a bit of it, actually. For some reason, I seem to remember him better than some of the others. But it still seems like a dream quality to it, And I think what really scares me the most is when I have dissociative states and I lose time. And I don't know if I've talked about that before, but I lost Saturday.